What are the details we have in this big story, big international story that we are tracking?
See, as of now, the official statement has come out where the ministers have started sharing condolences messages for the death of Mr. President, Mr. Ebrahim Raisi, as well as the Foreign Minister of Iran who was there on that helicopter. And as far as the immediate concerns which you're asking for, I would just like to remind that Iran just held the parliamentary elections and participation rate was at a record low, 41% nationally, but only around 7% in Tehran. Now, since the death of Mr. Ebrahim Raisi in this helicopter crash, the first Vice President, Mr. Mokhber, will take the charge, and in 16 days, the new elections will have to be called in. So that is the domestic politics of Iran. As far as the geopolitical situation is concerned, the Iran's policies with other countries will continue to remain the same, with powers staying with Mr. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei, as well as the IRGC, which is the Revolutionary Guard Corps of Iran. We know that how Iran was being blamed for escalating the situation with Israel. Iran, just last month, we saw the situation escalating between the two countries. Israel has been blaming Iran for the Gaza war, for arming Hamas, as well as Hezbollah in Lebanon, as well as Houthis in Yemen. So those policies will continue to remain unchanged as far as the geopolitical situation after the death of Iranian president is concerned. And as far as India is concerned, we just saw that 10 days ago, the Chabahar port deal was signed between India and Iran, and even US was not very pleasant about it. US has raised its objection about it, but Indian Foreign Minister Mr. Jaishankar had said that US should not take a very narrow view of the same Chabahar port, for which it had given an exemption to India in 2018 when sanctions were when Iran was put under sanctions. So continuing with all this situation, the geopolitical situation or ramification of this particular incident will not change as what we have seen in the last couple of months.
Right. Ghazali there, thank you so much for joining us with that. I'm also going back to Mr. Srivastav now. Mr. Srivastav, as Ghazali was also pointing out that, the geopolitical situation and maybe the political ramification of this may be limited. But the fact is that in that area, we can see, regionally speaking, there's, of course, a lot of tension, a lot of conflict that we have seen vis-a-vis Israel and the Hamas situation for the past several months now, since end of last year. How do you think, given that particular background, this sort of a tragedy taking place in Iran, is there going to be any sort of a ripple effect?
You mentioned Gaza situation. Now, it's worth recalling that the Palestinian problem has not been created by Iran. It was created in 1948. And at that time, Iran and Israel had very good relations. In fact, that phase lasted for more than 3 decades under Shah. So the Palestinian problem has its own trajectory and origin, which is not linked to Iran. So far as Gaza's situation is concerned, there are other factors, and that is hostage release and a ceasefire. Now, those factors are independent of what happens within Iran. So, in my view, there is not going to be any impact of this unfortunate development on situation in Gaza.